So I told you guys that my mother-in-law went and got, I'm guessing these are 2 bushels, these boxes of apples. Granny Smith and Honey Crisp. I'm trying to, you know, let them get a little soft, but it ain't happening. So we just gonna make it happen. The recipe calls for 12 pounds of apples. Hold on, let me turn my water off. So I don't have a scale. So we're doing 36 apples. I'm gonna take 18 out of the Granny Smith, 18 out of the Honey Crisp because I want to mix them together to make my applesauce. This is the first recipe that I'm doing. The second recipe that I'm doing is gonna be apple pie, filling in jars. So you guys, you see that? Justin Rhodes, let me tell you, motivating. So who wants to bob for apples? Do you remember doing that and then you got older and you thought about all the germs and everybody putting their head in the sink, you guys? Now you can your apples from the grocery store. So I probably would have used this peeler right here because I used that with my other things. I already had this. This, you know, is an apple core, peeler, slicer, all in one. So I told my husband that's what I was gonna use. And he was like, do you recall when I bought you the KitchenAid? So I went and I dug through the boxes because you know we still have things packed away. And I was like, I can't find it. But y'all, I found it. And I placed it on my KitchenAid. And this is what I will be using right here. This is my core. This is my peeler. If you're making applesauce with me or you just watching me, let me show you what I'm going to do. You don't have to do things the way I'm going to do them. You can follow whatever recipe that you are, you know, feel comfortable with. The book that I am using is this one here. I don't know if you can make it out. It is the Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving. So this recipe also calls for, you can use pint size or you can use quarts. Today I have a limited amount of pints, unfortunately, and I couldn't find any, but I have half pints and I have quarts. So when you're putting the apple on, you want to put it stem side first and just push it on. Line your core up with it, push it in, and then you're just gonna turn it on mix first and then go up as you need. Put a bowl under there. And that is it. And then you can just pull it off just like that. Just that simple. You have your spirals and you can either just toss them in and then toss them in, however you want to do it. It doesn't matter. It's all going to cook down. You put them in either your lemon juice with water mix or your citric acid and water mix. And you just pull this off. Before you go to the next one, I need this knife. Before you go to the next one, there we go. So you take the core off, toss that in there. You can save these. You can either give them to your chickens or you can save them and make your own apple cider vinegar, or save these, cook them down and make some apple jelly. So now that you have sliced and diced your apples up, however you're gonna do yours, have them in a pot. I'm using the same pot I had them soaking in my solution in, which is also my canner. But we're water bath canning, so I'm using my pressure canner to do this because it's bigger. So I'm gonna add about 1.5 cups of water. Bring it up to a boil on that high. You're gonna keep stirring it to make sure it's not sticking. So now that it's cooked down to the point where it's soft enough where I can actually blend it up. Okay, so I have my eye on low. And now this part is optional, whether you want to use ground cinnamon or not. Sugar is optional as well. You can do this without sugar, but you will need, this is not optional. You will need a real lemon juice in the bottle, not the actual fruit itself. And that's gonna make it safe to can. Okay, so first we're going calls for 3 cups. I'm gonna start with 2 cups. And then I'm gonna taste it. Part in a sweet. Get that mixed up. So I'm gonna do it to my husband's taste and do the actual 3 cups that it calls for. I would prefer it with the 2 cups, but I'm outvoted. Let's just put it like that, I'm outvoted. It's as pureed as I want it. Now with the cinnamon, I'm gonna do 4 teaspoons of cinnamon. And not heaping, not heaping. This is the one time you don't want heaping. Now we're gonna add the lemon juice. Make sure you shake the bottle up really well. Now I'm gonna mix this up, but I'm gonna bring this back up to a soft boil, meaning as soon as it starts to boil, it will be ready to can up. I'm using 1/2 inch headspace. Next step is to debubble. After you debubble, you want to use your vinegar with a paper towel. Wipe around the tops of your jar before adding your lids and your rings. I also like to tamp down on my jars if I have a padded area under it, just to get any excess air bubbles that I might have missed. When placing the lids, make sure that they are fingertip tight, and once you get done with that, add them to your canner and finish the rest of them. Okay, so now I have them in the pot. I'm going to turn my eye up high, bring these to a rolling boil, and I have 3 quarts in here and then 4 pints in here. It doesn't matter which you have in here, you still need to process it for 20 minutes. If you are below 1,000, if you are above 1,000, you need to process for an extra 5 minutes. So 25 minutes is what I am doing. Over here, I have 1/2 pints because I want to just have something that we could just grab and go if we just want a quick snack. So you want to have 1 inch of water over the lid.
I knew that I wanted to start a YouTube channel, and so I had been taking little clips and just saving them. Encouraged to start my channel. We did have lots of storage, shoveling, and it's just like you don't get no rice.
So you all, we are finally done. Our 25 minutes is up. I should have told you, add a little bit of vinegar to your water, especially if you have hard water, or even if you don't know if you have hard water, adding a little bit of vinegar to it will help stop some of that buildup on your jars. I forgot to do that this time, but no harm, no foul. Everything turned out fine. They are pinging, which means they are sealing just fine. And these are cinnamon. Cinnamon. Ooh. So these will sit out overnight. You know the routine. Let them cool down. Wash them off. Take the rings off. Label them and put them on your shelves. You now have some food or some treats. And if you don't want to add the cinnamon, don't add it. I'm going to do another batch without the cinnamon because I want to be able to use that in baking as a substitute. So you guys take care. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you got something from it. Give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please by all means go ahead and do that and share it out if you can. Remember to not live in fear, live in preparedness. Prep today so you are prepared for tomorrow. So I have my strainer over here. This was my apple peelings and some cores. I didn't do all of my cores. I'm trying to get as much liquid as I possibly can to make some apple jelly with. Did about 4 cups of apple juice from the peels. That wasn't enough, so I'm going to add some juice to it. How much is that? We needed 7 cups. But it's okay. So I just placed my last batch of, this is apple jelly that I made from the scraps. So it's 9:18 p.m. I think I started around, I don't know. I'm hoping that it sets right because I never did that one before, but I followed the recipe in the book. And we'll see you in the morning.